A fight like nothing we've ever seen. The most powerful man in the world, President Trump, trading verbal shots with the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. And this all started after Musk called for lawmakers to kill Trump's spending bill. And given the unpredictability of these two men who have never shied away from going on the attack, there is a lot of uncertainty about now what happens next. And joining us now is Brittany Gibbson with Axios. Brittany, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. First, this back and forth absolutely snowballed. Some major accusations posted online. Please walk us through some of the boldest statements we've seen so far.
Absolutely. I think the most surprising statement or accusation came on Elon Musk's side. The online spat, if you can if you can call it that, maybe that's an understatement, got very personal pretty quickly, and Musk accused President Trump of being in the Epstein files, which is essentially accusing him of sex crimes, and releasing and being transparent about that has been a priority of this administration, although they've not always executed, going back to the Bindergate scandal with Pam Bondi a couple of weeks ago. But it got very personal very quickly, more so on Musk's side.
Exactly. Musk, of course, just throwing that out there, not providing any evidence to that, such a claim. Axios has a piece up right now about what possibly triggered this from Musk. As you mentioned, elaborate on some of the timeline. We could call it that, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And we're learning now that it's a series of factors. So you start off with, in the big beautiful bill that Elon first started attacking last week, his company, Tesla, stands to lose the advantage of some of the electric vehicle tax credits. So that was the first thing that kind of wasn't going in Musk's favor here. Then we learned that Donald Trump said that he was not going to extend Musk's government special government status, to keep working on DOGE. So that was a second thing. Then after Elon had his ceremony in the White House, he got his golden key to the White House. Donald Trump pulled the nomination of the person to lead NASA, who was an ally of Elon Musk. And so it just built and built over time, and here we are.
And here we are, of course, 7 News on your side. We're always watching to possible impacts to the public. Where should viewers be looking at how this social media feud might impact them in the real world and on their bottom line?
I don't know if we know exactly how it's going to impact everyday people now, besides the fascination of watching this online. And I say that mostly because Republicans on Capitol Hill have so far signaled that they are siding with President Trump. They are still supportive of this bill. There's going to be a lot to debate on the bill in Congress, but that was true before Musk started this debate about the bill with Donald Trump online. And so in terms of legislation, in terms of money spent and impact, things seem to be moving in the same direction as before this in Trump's direction. But there's a fascinating component here that, as you said, the most powerful man in the world and the richest man in the world were having this fight on the social media platforms that they each respectively own,
Yeah.
and are publicly traded companies. So if you happen to be an investor in Tesla or an investor in the Trump media company, maybe you did have an impact, especially yesterday when this was going off. Both of those stocks lost value. So
Yes.
there's the financial side and the legislative side, potentially.
Exactly. And, that is politics and the private business mixing there. As you mentioned, let's dig into that a little bit more, because these two men have business empires tied up in this war of words. The Axios piece, Trump and Musk lose billions as feud spooks investors, by Ben Berkowitz with you, reads, quote, both men got to vent their frustrations publicly, and it only cost them about $21 billion. And you just mentioned it there, Brittany. Talk to us about the almost immediate business impacts for President Trump and Musk after this public exchange.
Well, on Musk's side, again, this is nothing new. We saw this during the presidential campaign and at the start of this year. Tesla's stock value increasing, especially after the election and all the work Musk had done to help with Trump's campaign translated to the investors feeling more positively about Tesla. The first few months of the administration, Tesla's valuation was high, but as controversy came out,
Mm,
as DOGE was less popular, as the firings came out, Tesla lost a lot of value leading
mm,
up to a shareholders call. I believe this was at the beginning of May, it might have been late April, when Musk first announced, I'm going to step back from politics a little bit and focus more on this company. So
mm,
Tesla shareholders have experienced this roller coaster before.
yeah.
On Trump's side, his company is a lot newer, so I'm not sure if they've had the exact same roller coasters, but they were brought into it yesterday.
Even just the connotation, what comes to mind for me is, Tesla owners, their cars being vandalized. Some of those implications too, more superficial. Brittany, I got one more question for us. Axios put up a poll. I found this very interesting. You've been sorting through the numbers, other polls for where Republicans side on this dispute between these two powerful men. What have you found those numbers in the polls? Your poll also, I think about 3,800 people to show.
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm familiar with the top lines of that polling, but I have seen reports that Americans in general, and I'm not sure the partisan breakdown, are pretty split on
Mm.
this debate. But I'm not sure if I'm familiar exactly with those top lines that you have.
And thank you, Brittany Gibbson, again with Axios, for your time talking about this just wild war of words playing out on social media between President Trump and Elon Musk. You were great. Thank you very much again, Brittany, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.